everybody. My name is Kamakhala Maponya Kamtsotsa Boza Yadi Boza, and you are tuned in to Aspiring, a little show on the internet where we get to speak to various people about their career choices and why they did the degrees that they do. Today, I have a beautiful girl in studio with me, and of course, it's summer, so everyone is coming in their dresses and their shorts, and I'm loving it. Her name is Malaika Mamabolo.
Yeah.
Hi, Laika.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be chatting about a degree that not many people follow, but I think it's a very diverse degree as well. Would you like to just have a little introduction to tell the people who you are?
Yeah. So, hi, everyone. Like Gamo said, my name is Malaika. I am in my final year studying a Bachelor of Social Science in Politics, Philosophy, and Economics, also known as PPE.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The triple majors.
Exactly.
I don't know how you guys do it, but we'll get deeper into that as we go on. For now, I just want to ask you a few icebreakers.
Cool.
Right? If Malaika is going on a holiday, give me one destination locally and one destination internationally that is like a must for you to go.
Yeah. Before moving to UCT, I think I would have said that the local one was Cape Town. But now I live in the holiday place.
But we don't get to experience the holiday destination.
I think I'd probably say Franschhoek. I love the mountains. I love the wine trams. So that's probably the local one. And international, I don't know if it's a common one, but I've always wanted to go to New York City.
Who wouldn't want to go?
I'm a city girl
Times
at heart.
Square.
That's the dream. Broadway, Times Square, maybe the Hamptons on the side there. Yeah,
Okay.
That's the dream.
I like that. So when you're singing karaoke, what is your go-to song?
Yo, nobody ever lets me do karaoke. Because apparently, like, if you can kind of sing, you're not supposed to do karaoke.
Can't you fake not sing?
I do try. I would probably say something by ABBA, maybe Dancing Queen.
Classic.
Yeah.
I remember my high school, like the girls really loved ABBA.
Yeah.
Everything Mamma Mia.
I'm very basic, guys. I don't want to lie.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then what is one unusual talent that you have that not many people know you do? Or at least, what's your hidden talent?
I don't know if it's still a talent because I don't practice, but I used to be very good at the piano. I did
wow.
piano up to matric. I got to grade 7, which is pretty good. Not a lot of people
Wait,
know.
grade 7, like Trinity grade
Yeah.
7? Oh, wow. That's
So I don't
professional
play
level.
anymore, so not many people know that.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. You're a piano player? You're a pianist?
In another life.
We need to bring that go back.
Maybe, yeah.
That grade 7 is...
Kind of up there.
It is really up there. Like, I attempted grade 1.
Period. You got there.
Okay, and then if you were to have one superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation. I hate to travel. I don't like planes. I don't like cars. So if I could just get where I need to be.
Instantly?
Yeah.
I would like that one because, have you ever woken up late for a test or an exam?
You're so stressed. And then yes.
And then you have to try to get to the jammy.
Exactly.
And then a whole journey in between. So
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice one. For me, I would say mind reading.
Oh. But like turn it
telekinesis,
on,
right?
turn it off? Or all the time?
Oh, that's a good question.
Exactly.
Maybe like turn on, turn off.
Yeah, because there's some things you might not want to hear.
I would think like in a test or exam, sit next to the person who knows everything.
That's so clever.
Then everything they're thinking of.
It just comes. Oh,
Exactly.
I love that. I love that.
So growing up, you obviously had many career options that you could go
Yeah.
into. What were some of them that you were thinking of?
I will start by saying that what I'm doing now was not one of them at all. For a very long time, and you can probably relate, I wanted to do drama. I wanted to act. I've always wanted to do musical theatre. I love to act. I love to sing. I can't dance to save my life, but that's,
They could fix it in drama school.
Yeah, so it was always something to do with being on stage. And then I think maybe when it was like grade 11 and I got serious, not that the other ones weren't serious, but I just knew that it wasn't going to happen for me. I decided that I wanted to maybe work for the embassy, be an ambassador, be a diplomat.
Ooh.
So that's more along where I am now. So that was probably at the end of matric, something to do with diplomacy. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you get to that point of thinking, okay, I might want to be an ambassador, work for the embassy, maybe live in other countries, possibly UN.
Yeah.
How did you get to that point?
So that the main thing was that I wanted to live somewhere else.
Okay.
I've always loved to travel. I've been blessed to see a few other countries. And I thought that being an ambassador was probably the best way with the subjects that I took in high school, one being history, to kind of get into that travel but still work and do something social as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
So why choose PPE?
I didn't choose PPE. PPE chose me, actually.
Wow.
So I was always very determined that I wanted to go to UCT. I did apply to other universities, but this was the one. And UCT did not have the degree that I actually wanted to study. So I wanted to study international studies or international relations so that I could then do the ambassador diplomacy thing. And UCT didn't have it. And I was looking like when did we apply? Grade 12?
Yeah, grade 12.
In
like
grade 12,
grade
yeah.
12.
I was looking and my mom was helping me find something similar. We looked at maybe a general BA or a BSocSci. And then there was a PPE, and my mom was like, oh, yeah, a lot of presidents and, ministers in other countries have done PPE. And I was like, okay, politics, international studies, there's gonna be a link. So I applied for a PPE. I didn't understand what it was. And here I am.
So I'm glad you actually touched on the fact that you didn't understand what it was.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people in grade 12, in high school, looking to maybe become ambassadors, don't actually understand what PPE is.
Exactly.
If you could give like a mini summary of what it is and what they can expect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the best way to explain it is a blend of a humanities degree and a commerce degree. So you are doing the politics and philosophy, which is very essay-based, lots of writing, lots of reading. But then you do the economic side, you do a bit of maths and a bit of statistics. So you're getting that commerce business side of things as well. And that prepares you very well for a job in government because you're getting to see different aspects of the political economy of whatever country that you're working in. So I think that if you like to write, but you're also okay in the math side, then it's something to look into.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then in terms of, you said it is politics, philosophy, and economics. Just separating each of them, could you do them separately, and why choose the combined three major instead of maybe focusing on politics or focusing on philosophy or economics?
So you can do them separately, at least at UCT. I don't know how it works at other universities. If you want to say maybe do two, you want to do politics and economics, you would then do a general Bachelor of Social Science and you would pick those as your majors. What I would recommend doing all three if you don't know what you want to do.
Okay.
I came in very strong in first year. I want to be a politician. I want to work for an embassy.
Things have changed.
I am now applying for an honors in economics.
Okay.
I never thought that I would be doing something that is so maths based. But yeah, I think doing all three is good if you don't know what you want to do. The philosophy side is usually a bit undermined, but it's actually really good for teaching you critical thinking and teaching you essay writing skills. So yeah, I would say if you're not sure where you want to go with life, do all three. but know that it comes with a lot of work and a lot of tears.
I understand.
Yeah.
Speaking of the tears, what are some of the challenges you have faced in the degree? Because you're triple majoring. Like, that is a lot. You are between faculties.
Yeah.
I'm sure there have been a few challenges here and there.
I think for me, maths was never my strongest subject. And coming in, I didn't realize how much maths would be in economics. You did Eco 1010.
Yes, it's a lot of maths, guys.
Yeah, so I think for me, the biggest struggle is changing your thinking between classes, because you'll start the morning, maybe you have philosophy, and you're in this very abstract, critical thinking, and then you go to ecos and suddenly you need to switch on that left side brain and be thinking analytically right, wrong. So that balance can be a bit difficult. I think I'm only now starting to figure it out. And I think the other difficult thing is that there aren't a lot of people who do the degree. So you feel a little bit out in the sense that, there aren't a lot of people who can relate to what you're going through in all three. So I would recommend find friends. Find so many friends, as many as you can. Yeah, it really helps to help you feel supported and talk to people who understand how difficult the triple major thing can be.
Yeah. So you spoke about how you're only just learning the balance, just learning how to cope with all three. What have been your biggest lessons in balancing them all? Like, how have you done it?
I think the big thing is accepting that you're not going to be great at all of them. It's like there's always going to be one that's a bit weaker, and it's better to focus on the ones that you're good at. I'm not saying disregard the weak one, but if you're looking at it from a GPA perspective, I always know that there are certain courses that are going to bring it down. It used to be ecos and now it's the politics. So you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, that is one thing that I've found quite difficult. And like I said, having the support system is probably the best way to get over that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had a question earlier on that I forgot to ask. So there is the Bachelor of Social Science version of PPE, and then there's the BCom version of PPE. To the best of your knowledge, what are the differences between the two? Like, what can someone who's applying for UCT or any other university expect when, they enter the university space?
Okay, so I'm doing the Bachelor of Social Science, so it's a humanities degree. And I would say that it is, of course, then more focused on the politics and philosophy side. When you do a BSOC-Sci, you only do the ecos courses that you need to graduate with an ecos major. You don't really do many extras. If you're doing the BCom side, which looking back, I would probably recommend, depending on what you want to go into. When you do a BCom, you get a lot of a commerce background. You get to do some accounting. You get to do some information systems, which are skills that will prepare you quite well for a commerce-based profession.
Okay.
So I think it depends what you want to do. If you know you want to go into politics, work for the UN, work for the government, do the humanities one. If you think you're maybe gonna want to do something to do with working for treasury or working for the business side of any company, then I would say maybe do the BCom.
Okay, so you're saying BCom allows you to have the more economics-focused side, whereas humanities is more focused on the philosophy and politics.
Exactly.
And then in terms of entrance requirements, are they different? Are they similar?
I can't say that I know for sure.
Okay.
But so I can talk about the humanities requirements more. You would need to do an NBT if you want to come to UCT. But you only have to do, there's two NBTs.
Yes, the English one.
Yes, you don't have to do the maths NBT for the BSOC-Sci. You need to get, I think it's an average of 65 overall in matric. and I think you need to get also 65 for maths. For both, you do need to do maths core.
Okay.
Which I didn't know.
I was about to ask.
I did not know
because,
that.
With humanities degrees, generally they do allow maths lit.
Yes.
Okay.
So because of that economic side, because in first year you do a basic maths course and you do a basic stats course, you need to have done maths core. And I'm pretty sure that if you have done maths lit, UCT has bridging courses for the maths side, but then it's an extra year on your degree. So, yeah, both you definitely need a maths core. And then I think, I don't want to, don't quote me on this, but I think that for the BCom, you also need to do the maths NBT.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you heard that. Make sure you have maths, specifically if you want to do PPE.
Yeah.
For both the commerce one and for the social science.
Yes.
But for social science, you don't have to do the NBT maths.
Exactly.
Okay. That it helps let someone know what they can expect.
Yes.
Help them prepare. Because oftentimes you only figure out degrees when you're in university.
Exactly.
And you didn't know of your other options. You spoke about wanting to focus more on honors in economics.
Yes.
What changed along the journey? What have you learned that maybe is leading you in the direction of economics?
So, like I said, when I was in high school, I really didn't like maths. I asked my parents so many times if I could do maths lit, and they said, you know what, you're doing okay in maths. Just have it as a back. People say maths core open doors, that kind of thing. My parents were very big on that. But through uni, I've low-key fallen in love with maths, guys. Wow. Just a little bit. And specifically the statistics side. I love Stats 1000, which is the introductory stats course that you do at UCT. I am currently doing a course called Quantitative Methods in Economics, which is very statistics-based. I would go back and do a different degree just in statistics. So Ecos allows me to focus on that. And in terms of profession, I've definitely moved to wanting to do something more research-based. I want to stay in academia if it's possible. And I'd love to do some economics research in the future. So doing an honors in Ecos is hopefully going to prepare me for that.
I think what I love about your degree is how broad it is. You spoke about working in government, becoming an ambassador, working in research as well, because you have your foot in many, many doors.
Yes.
You have your foot in the door, basically.
Exactly.
You do have the opportunity to work in any sector. Could someone work in corporate with a PPE degree?
Absolutely.
Okay.
A lot of consultants do PPE, and if you want to work in, even your big four accountings, they need economists. So there's definitely room for that. If you want to go into corporate, I would recommend the BCom. Okay. Definitely. I think that the BSOC side, what?
Components?
Yeah, it kind of prepares you better for public work, working for government, that kind of thing. Not to say that you can't do it with both, but I think that a BCom will definitely prepare you more for the corporate world. Yeah.
So BCom is better suited for corporate.
Definitely.
Why haven't you considered corporate? What about it has not, let me say, what about it doesn't entice you?
I think that there was a point where I wanted to do consulting, but I think that I've always known that I'm more interested in the research and writing things. Also, I don't want to do a 9 to 5. Let me just be so for real. I don't want to work. Not that research isn't work, but I think that I've always seen myself as more of a student. And I think that, I wouldn't fit in the corporate world.
Get it.
Yeah.
So I understand, for your personality, you want a space where you could be, I don't say free, but not restricted to deadline. Not that you won't have deadlines as an academic, but there's more leeway and room for your own expression.
Definitely. Okay. Heavy on the expression bit. Yeah.
Yes.
But if a corporate opportunity comes, like, I'm not going to say no. I think it's always good to get real world experience and then go back to the research side. Yeah.
Okay. So, because you have the broad skills within economics, politics, and philosophy, what are the things a lot of the people going into this degree can do to prepare themselves once they're in it? Maybe setting up timetable. What are the skills, like writing skills, for example? What could they do in that sense?
I think a big thing, maybe say if you're a bit younger and you're watching this, if you're in grade 9 and you need to choose subjects, like pick essay-based subjects. At school, all the subjects that I did, you had to write an essay at some point, and it really did prepare me for things like writing a lot of essays, knowing how to read academic literature, and knowing how to reference is a big thing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times you'll see a really good essay and then you have to give like plagiarism penalties and stuff like that. So on the more humanity side, I definitely say just those essay writing skills. If you can find workshops online, there's always things like that to help. And on the time management side,
I know, as university students, we're all terrible at it.
I don't want to say that I'm the best at that. Honestly, my time management suggestion is to take breaks.
Okay.
I feel like it's very easy once you get to uni, especially in a degree like PPE, where, like I said, you have to think in so many different ways. It's very easy to get burnt out. Have hobbies, take breaks, do things with your friends. Like, that really helps to balance the academic load. I think that's the same for all degrees. I don't know if there's anything else that I could recommend in terms of preparation. You kind of just get thrown in the deep end and you figure it out as you go along. You really do.
I think one other thing, have you used the writing center at GCT perhaps?
No, and I wish I had.
Okay.
I really do think that it's such a good resource. The thing with the writing center is you need to have good time management. Because if the essay is due on Monday, you can't go to the writing center on Friday. You know what I mean? They need to have your essay a bit in advance. So if you're good at time management, use the writing center.
So ask for help, essentially.
Definitely. Peer review is always good. If you've got an essay coming up, check it with somebody else. Make friends with people who have also done the degree and that are older than you. Definitely helps a lot.
So you spoke about hobbies. What outside of school, maybe UCT related, do you do? And how do you think that helps you, become a better person, but as well as for your career?
Yeah, so when I was in first year, I was in the UCT choir. I'm not in it anymore because time, but would definitely recommend, especially as a first year, like something to get social. I run a lot.
Yes, she's a 2 Oceans runner, by the way, 21 kilometers.
So yeah, that definitely helps to clear my head. And I think that especially when you're doing a humanities degree, it's very easy to lose the love for reading because you spend so much time reading academic literature. So I found that creating some time to read socially, read my Bible, it makes a difference. Yeah.
So doing things outside of school that help you essentially
do better in school. Absolutely. I really do think it makes a difference because you can't be somebody who studies 24/7.
That's true.
It's not realistic and you will get burnt out regardless of what you're studying.
And burnout is a real thing a lot of us experience. Have you, I don't want to say, have you experienced it or been on the edge of experiencing it? And how have you managed that?
I think that I'd say last year, second semester was the worst for me. I was just trying to push myself to very unrealistic standards. I think that when you are used to being a high achiever in high school and you get 80s and 90s or whatever. And then you get to uni and you're getting 60s and 70s and 40s.
It happens?
Yeah, it's a wake-up call and it's a shock. And for some reason, last year, second semester, I wasn't coping. I wasn't doing anything outside of school, and my marks dropped. Like, I don't want to say, like, oh, I didn't have a life and my marks went up. No, like, it was the worst semester for me. And I just found that coming into this year, I came in with the attitude of I'm going to rest. If there's something due tomorrow and I haven't finished it, I'm going to sleep.
Okay.
Like, it will get done somehow. And I found that it's made a very big difference and my marks have improved. So it's so important to listen to your body when it needs rest.
I like that you prioritize rest because I would say the amount of energy drinks I see on campus.
Exactly.
The amount of coffee. Obviously, some people love coffee for its taste, but, the amount of coffee I see people drinking. Some people sleep in the library as well.
Real.
And I like what you said. Sometimes you do have unrealistic standards. I know for myself as well. Like,
exactly.
You can set unrealistic standards where you really want to achieve, you really want to do well, but it ends up being at the cost of your own mental health.
Exactly.
It ends up being at the cost of, your well-being. You're not seeing your friends, you're isolating yourself. You're just not living. You just seem like a zombie to your own work and to your own, what's this? Like
your whole life.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're not running it. It's kind of in control of you. So, we spoke about the career options, right? We spoke about how you can go into corporate, you can go into government.
Yes.
What are some of the areas currently that, obviously unemployment in South Africa is a bit of a problem. Where do you think people could focus their PPE degree? Because, we also want to make sure that people are employable at the end of the day.
I think this is going to be a bit of a hot take, honestly. So a lot of the times UCT will host job expose conventions, and 90% of those companies will tell you, oh, we don't take that degree. So I realized, and I don't want to say that there's anything wrong with doing politics and philosophy because there are opportunities for that. But when I stopped telling companies that I'm studying politics, philosophy, and economics, and I started saying that I'm studying economics, I don't want to lie, doors opened.
Okay.
And that I don't necessarily think is a fault of the opportunities that are available. I think that there is just less exposure to opportunities for humanities students. If UCT and career services would have more expose with public, like government company, not government companies, but
public sector.
Exactly. Or even non-profit organizations, there are more opportunities for humanities students. They're just harder to find.
Okay.
So I think that if you are wanting an easy out, in a sense, and a higher chance of employment in South Africa specifically, I would say focus on the economic side. If you are interested in looking overseas, the PPE degree was created by Oxford. So in other countries like the UK and the US, they are more aware of what a PPE degree means and the benefits that it has. So I think that in a few years' time, South Africa will be at that point. But for now, if you want to focus on the degree as a whole, I would recommend looking overseas.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense because I have seen it myself, Look, as a commerce student, I was oblivious to it at first because I go to Career Expo and I see a billion companies
Everybody
there.
wants you guys.
And then it's like, oh, do you do accounting? Do you do finance? Do you do all of these commerce degrees? And they're all there for us. And I found that when speaking to my friends in humanities, they always speak about how companies are not always looking for that.
Exactly.
And maybe changing the way we do our career services. So it's something maybe we could, create a
Gotta make some change.
Make some changes, go to career services, and like hopefully suggest ways that people can really market themselves, especially with their humanities degrees, because they're very valuable degrees. They just need the space to actually be used.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
So you spoke about international relations and how UCT doesn't really have that specific degree. If someone were to enter into the university wanting to do PPE, but their end goal is, I really want to be in international relations, what can they do post the PPE qualification?
So my recommendation would be, do the PPE in your undergrad, apply for an honors in politics, and then once you've done an honors in politics, you still get a very broad idea of like politics as a whole, and then you could do a master's to do international relations, or my other suggestion is do your undergrad at UCT, do a PPE, and then move to either the University of Stellenbosch or the University of Pretoria, who both offer an honors in international studies, because then you've got this really good background in politics, philosophy, and economics, and then you get to focus on international studies in your honors. And I think that just prepares you really well for a degree in diplomacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So because we don't have it, it would require a lot more studying.
Exactly.
If you come to this university.
Yes.
But if there are other universities, you spoke of UP and Stellenbosch, rather go there and do it directly if you know that's your end goal.
That's exactly what you want to do.
Okay. Yeah. So I know you said you chose UCT, but why not go and do international relations at a different university as a whole?
I decided that I was going to UCT. I think I was in grade 9, and my family came down because my dad was running the Two Oceans.
That's how I also knew about UCT.
I saw that university on the mountain, and I was like, it's the only way, and God made it possible. So I just decided that if I get in here, regardless of for what, I'm coming here. And honestly, I don't regret it. I think that doing a PPE has prepared me so well for what I want to do. If I'd ended up going to Stellenbosch and I did an international relations, I would have been on a completely different career path. I'm not even doing politics next year anymore.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So I think that you really do end up where you're supposed to be, and honestly trust your gut on these things. And even if you don't end up on the path that you expected, you will end up where you were intended to be.
Where you're meant to be.
Exactly.
I love that because you spoke about how, look, we have the same story about how we wanted to come to UCT.
Yeah.
My dad was also running Two Oceans.
Crazy.
And then obviously Two Oceans ends on UCT's Green Mile, our rugby field. So I'm here and I see these beautiful mountains behind us. I see the beautiful buildings, and I'm like, I'm coming to this university. I don't know how, I don't know what for, but I'm coming for that. And I like what you said about, you coming to UCT. You wouldn't have found out that you love economics as much as you do. You might have been directly doing international relations. Not that that's not a great career.
Exactly.
But you found a new love, and possibly that's more where, I don't say your purpose is aligned, but purpose could be more purposeful to you.
Exactly.
Do you think that you'd ever use your musical theatre skills? Because you spoke about having to let go of your passions, your love for musical theatre. You did the piano, you sing. You're a proper theatre kid.
I think that if the opportunity comes up one day to get back into it, I would definitely be open to that. But I also think that it sounds so terrible, but there are people who are more meant for that than I am. And I think it would always be a hobby for me, but I had the passion, but I never had the discipline.
Okay.
I didn't practice anywhere near as much as I should have. And I feel that now doing economics, I think I have more of the discipline than the passion. And that's really what keeps you succeeding in something. My mom always says, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Oof.
And with economics, I've had to work harder at it than anything I ever have. It has been such a process. I think in first year I was getting 50s. And now I've worked my way up through the hard work. And through that, I've kind of fallen in love with it. So I think you can have multiple passions and they will each have their time. Yeah.
I like that. Because I think, I know with me, drama being, it's sometimes your first love.
Yes.
And for me, it was more about the stability it could bring. As much as I love drama and love theatre, the arts, there was a lack of stability. And a lot of people were discouraging me from going into it as well. And, it kind of broke my heart.
It hurts, yeah.
But at the same time, what you said is so true. You are where you're meant to be. And every step of the way will lead to you finding out more about yourself.
Exactly.
About your own talents. And I like what you said about discipline. Discipline?
Yeah.
Discipline is so important, especially as a university student.
Yeah.
It's so important for us to continue to, when you're not feeling like it, on the days where you just don't think you can go any further, the discipline you have will carry you forward.
Definitely.
And it will help you succeed in all that you do.
Yeah.
So if you were to go back to 10-year-old Malaika, what do you think you would tell her?
I don't think I would give away where we are now, because I think I'd break her heart, because this was not her plan.
Okay.
But I would tell her to keep reading. I think that's the biggest thing. Especially in the age that we live in now of TikTok and things that are actually not very good for attention span. I say this with someone who has a TikTok addiction. I would say keep reading. I really do think that is what's going to save the youth. And I would tell her that everything is going to be okay. And that everything is going to work out. And just to trust the process, honestly.
Trust the process.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to someone who is in matric and looking to, study next year at university, maybe specifically within the humanities faculty? It doesn't necessarily have to be academic, but it could be if you'd like to.
On the academic side, I would say don't let anybody tell you that your degree isn't hard, because it is. And the struggle that you are going through is valid. And on the not so academic side, I would say to a matric to remember that time in your life and to, of course, take the academics seriously, but also to be present. There are people in your matric year that you will never see again. There are experiences that you will never have again, and just to live in the moment and appreciate that phase of your life, because varsity and high school are very different. Just to appreciate it and remember that your matric marks do not define you. I know everybody says that, and when you are in matric, it is the biggest thing in the world, and that's valid. But you will be okay either way. If you get great marks, you will be fine. If your marks are not what you expect, you will be fine. And there's gonna be a way in all things.
I appreciate that you said don't let your matric marks define you. And earlier you also spoke about how, you set your high standards, which are good standards, but at the time of your life, let's say in university, for example, it's not always a healthy standard.
Exactly.
So it may be a great standard for one to aspire to, but it's not one that will be very healthy for you to aspire to. Another thing, you sometimes experience imposter syndrome.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially in a school like UCT,
yes.
The best in Africa. And not to say, I'm not saying it's sarcastic.
No,
but it really is the best in Africa. And you're often surrounded by high achievers. And you often feel like, oh my word, am I qualified? Can I do this?
Exactly.
And in your first year especially, you will meet people who were top of the country,
Yes.
top of their schools, top of the province. But it's important to know your own value,
Yes.
your own, qualification. Like, just because someone got 100% in maths doesn't mean the 80% in maths is any less
Exactly.
worth it. So, yes.
Yeah.
I would like for you to look into the camera and speak to Malaika in 10 years, right? A little love letter to Malaika and say, Malaika, in 10 years, the economics researcher, the
Yeah.
academic, what would you like to say to her?
That I'm proud. And even if you are not where I thought we would be in 10 years, that's okay. Keep trusting that the Lord has a plan for your life. And don't try to do things on your own. Keep asking for help and, keep building communities.
Keep building communities. It's so important to never do it alone. But Malaika, it's been an honor having you.
It's been an honor being here.
Girl, I've been looking for someone within PPE, and I was like, I have friends in PPE. There's no need for me to go that far. And thank you for sharing your insight on what politics, philosophy, and economics looks like, especially telling us the differences between BCom, BSocSci, and the various career options one has within that degree. And you know what? I know you're going to keep shining. I know you're going to be excellent in anything that you do.
Thank you.
Because you're so disciplined. And I love that you spoke about how being disciplined can really outwork talent and consistency as well.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. You shared a lot with us.
Thank you for having me.
And I know you guys at home, you guys watching this, are going to be really blessed with this episode, because I had a great girl with me, a great woman who shared her knowledge, her wisdom about her experience at UCT studying politics, philosophy, and economics. Please make sure to share it with everyone you know. Please make sure to share it with that matric student who is looking to be a diplomat, looking to work in economics, looking to have a broad degree with various career options, and just encourage them to apply and to not disqualify themselves. And most importantly, to live a balanced life and to not let their marks define them. But from us, it is